Internetos, and we're back. Sitting here with Statik Selektah.
Yeah.
Listen, we were going into Joey.
Yeah.
Pause. Talking about when the first time you met him.
Yeah.
Right? What did you even think about the kid first time you seen him?
Well, the first time before anything, Johnny Shipe sent me an email and was like, I got this kid, Joey Badass, that I want you to work with. And I was like, off the rip, I was like, what's that, a punk band? Like, I didn't understand. The name caught me off guard at first. And he sent me the Survival Tactics video about a month later. And I saw it, and I was like, you know what, these kids are, it was him and STEEZ, rest in peace, STEEZ. And I saw him, and I was like, these kids are dope, but I know that beat. It's a record from the 90s they were just rapping on. There was no hook.
Sure.
And I was like, it's cool. Like, I like it. I'm happy that these kids are trying to keep that sound going, but I was like, I want to hear some records. And a little bit later, I saw the video for Hard Knock with Joey and CJ, and that was an original song. And I was like, you know what, bro? I was like, yeah, I'm all about it. So they hit me up, and they were like, Joey needs scratches for his mixtape. You know, he wants to come through the studio. Can you do it? I'm like, yeah, come through. So he comes through. He definitely like knew who I was, but I don't think he understood like what I produced and my beats and all that. Because he came through like, do the cuts, and then he was like, all right, we about to be out. And I'm like, wait, what? I was like, dog, I didn't even play you no tracks or nothing. The first beat I played him was ended up being Don't Front, which is on 1999. And him and CJ are there. And they just like put the mic on. Like the second they heard it, they were like, oh, we like this. Like put the mic on. And they both spit their verses real quick. And I did a quick mix. There was already scratching on the song, actually. Oh, no. There was one scratch on the intro, but he said on the hook, don't front. So I scratched the, don't front. And gave it to him, and, they picked a couple of the beats and left. And that was that. And the next week, the mixtape came out, and it was on there. Like, we didn't even mix it or master it. They just liked my mix, because I usually mix as I go. And they put it on the mixtape, and, boom. I watched Joey just, like, all of a sudden, it's everywhere. And, I think a week later, I was on tour in Europe with Term, and we did Splash Festival, and Action was supposed to go on right after us. And Action, like, couldn't do it for some reason. He, like, basically canceled the gig. And Joey had happened to be on his first run in Europe, and they were like, they put Joey in replace of Action. And this is early. His mixtape had just came out, but he was already popping. So he ended up going on, like, right next to us at the show. And, we kicked it and all that. And then, we were just kicking it, and I was telling him about things that I had dealt with Action and Mac Miller and all this, like, talking about the recent cats that have been coming through the studio and all that. And, he ended up coming back through when we got back to the States, and we did, STEEZ was with him, and we did Like Water, we did Interlude 47, we did a bunch of joints in one day. They all made the Pro Era mixtape.
Now, he's been touring like crazy for years.
Yeah.
Your deal with him, like, is that like is a handshake deal? Like, how did you become
it's no
a
deal.
tour?
I mean, I DJ'd 90% of those gigs.
Okay.
Like, I was on.
How'd that happen?
Basically, Shipes brought me into one of the only complaints I've ever heard about Joey ever is when he first started doing shows, people were complaining that he was rapping over the vocals. And for an MC like him, it's one thing if you go see one of these auto-tune rappers and you don't want to really hear them try to sing, you know what I mean? But when it comes to like a real rapper, like, you don't want to hear Nas over his lyrics. You want to hear Nas rap. Same thing with Jay. Same thing with whoever. So with Joey, I was like, yo, Johnny, I was like, let me tell you right now that he needs to stop rapping over the lyrics. And like, I had heard that because I was in Europe, like I said, on that run, and some of the promoters we were seeing were being like, yo, Joey's dope, but he was rapping over the lyrics. This is early, you know what I mean? 2012. So I was like, yo, bring me in. I'm a DJ for him, put together a real show with scratches and all this shit. Like, and we basically, the first tour that we did together was the Beast Coast tour. And it was March 2013. It started at South by Southwest, and we did like 40 dates or something. And after that, up until this year, like, I literally did every tour except I didn't do the Schoolboy Q tour, and this year I did the tour with Logic. I did the first 11 days, and I went home for my daughter's birthday and just stayed back to work on the album. But besides that, I've done every other Joey show ever. So like, I've seen the whole transformation. And I went on to Before the Money, the first actual album, that was all like mixed and mastered in my daughter's room. And we actually mastered it here in the studio, the engine room. But as far as all the mixing and like the initial master and all that was all done in my daughter's room now, which is now, it's her room now. It's not a studio anymore.
Yeah.
But, a lot of history went down in that room. And this is after my Bushwick apartment. This is when I moved to Williamsburg. And the only things we did in that album, in that room, is I did the first beat I made in that room was Eminem, Detroit vs. Everybody. Then we did.
Wait, you can't just run over that. How did that even? How does that fall in your lap?
I don't want to leave the Joey's thing.
Okay. Let's continue, Joey. We'll get back to M.
So anyway, Joey's album Before the Money was number 1 on the rap chart. Did like 60-something thousand first week. This is all out of my basement, like in my crib, bro. I was very proud of that. It's my first number 1. And during this time, you got to realize too, we dealt with the loss of Capital STEEZ, which really affected the whole pro era thing and changed the way it was going.
Sure.
And then right before Joey's album was finished, his cousin Junior, who was he was all of our road manager and his day-to-day manager and one of his best friends, he lived with Joey and everything, passed away in a car accident like right before the album was completed. Like that album almost didn't come out anywhere close to that time. But Joey wanted to keep going just for Junior's like priority in life was Joey making it to the level he wanted to get at. And I think Junior took it more serious than anyone. So like, that dude will always be part of Joey's story because a lot of L's, man.
How throughout that time you were right there, how did they, I mean, I know you said that because of what he wanted, but the atmosphere had to be tough. It had to be like when you go through that shit, how did they create? How did they continue to go out on tour? Like, was it hard or?
We were on tour when he passed, and we had to, like, basically, I don't want to get too detailed into it, but there was a area of time where, like, they were like, yo, he's going to be okay. So Joey, everybody was like, Junior would want you to keep going. And I think he got pneumonia or something a couple of days later and passed. And that was like, we canceled the rest of the tour, came back home. And I think the album was like just turned in when that happened. So it was like, it was just a really crazy time, man. And Junior, I remember the last night, man, we were in London the night before he went back home and, what happened. And he was just so happy that Joey had sold out the O2 in I forget what part of London that is. Anyway, it's one of the biggest venues in London, and he was just so proud of the whole situation, man. And his spirit definitely stays with all of us.
It's great to see that you've been able to form a relationship with them.
Yeah,
watch his journey, but also too, don't see everyone.
It becomes family though, like you know what I mean, like to the point where, like his mother, my mother, everybody is very. It's a family unit, even if we're away from each other. Like right now, he's on tour in Europe. When he gets back, like it's always the same with us, man.
Sure.
Through all of
as it should be. You guys created greatness together.